I'm just wondering when you people are going to wake up. Don't you realize that the overpaid, underworked, irresponsible, self aggrandizing, self important, pompous ass bureaucrats in Washington are destroying this country from within? What's it going to take for you to get your head out of the sand? The United States of America is over $13 trillion in debt. That's roughly $500,000 per family of four. And that's not even including everyone's personal debt. What we pay just to finance the debt is what our entire government ran off of just a little over 2 decades ago. America has less than 140 million people in its workforce. Over 20 million of those work for the government. We have over 41 million people collecting some type of welfare and over 25 million people unemployed. But yet 14 million illegal immigrants are in this country doing jobs Americans supposedly won't do. Isn't the economic solution obvious? Do I have to connect the dots here? Wake up, America. We're spending tens of billions of dollars each and every year educating the children of illegals, while the test scores of American children continue to plummet compared to other industrialized nations around the world. According to our own government, a couple of thousand illegal immigrants sneak into America every single day, and our government still doesn't want to secure the border, even knowing that roughly 30% of all federal inmates in the United States are foreign nationals, costing American taxpayers over $6 million every single day. Now, I realize it's only $6 million, but it's still $6 million every single day. Wake up, America. And as the United States is going down, 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 we're still giving hundreds of billions of dollars every single year to other nations. And many of those countries can't even stand us. We're spending billions of dollars every single year stationing troops all around the world, protecting other countries, but we can't even secure our own borders? Give me a break. America's going broke, but we still have almost 40,000 troops in Japan. Japan has one of the biggest economies in the world, but Americans are still forced to pay for its protection. Now, if our troops are going to be there, at the very least, Japan should foot the entire bill. I just heard of another study that says the United States spends more on so-called defense than all other nations combined. What the hell is wrong with us? Doesn't anyone know our founding fathers warned us to beware of foreign entanglements? And Eisenhower warned us to beware of the military-industrial complex? Wake up, America. Politicians are beholden to special interest groups, but somehow, for whatever reason, ignorant Americans continue to put them in office. There are tens of thousands of registered and unregistered lobbyists in the halls of state and federal government, legally and illegally, bribing politicians to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars every year, half of them being of foreign interests, and Americans are still foolish enough to believe our nation is of the people, by the people, and for the people. What the hell is wrong with you people? The overwhelming majority of your so-called representatives are nothing but lawyers on the take. Just look at how many of them end up being multimillionaires when they leave office. And when I say lawyers, I mean modernly trained lawyers, not classically trained lawyers. I didn't go to law school, but from what I've read, it used to be when a person went through law school, they studied the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Federalist Papers, and the history of the United States in order to know the intent of the Founding Fathers. You know, the people who wrote the founding documents of this country. Now, they usually only study case law. It's no wonder this country no longer follows the Constitution. Nobody in the government has ever read it. And they certainly haven't read the Declaration of Independence, you know, that pesky document that lays out the basic moral principle that this country is supposed to be based on, that the very reason our government was founded in the first place, that every man has a right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. The Constitution was to be the legal foundation of America, and the Declaration of Independence was to be the moral foundation of America. Obviously, most politicians don't read either one of these documents. Besides that, what do these arrogant fools know about any of the things they pass laws on? Did they study medicine? Do they have degrees in economics? Do they have degrees in accounting? Have they run a successful business? Do they know anything about finance? They obviously have no idea how to stick to a budget. Hell, there's not any evidence that even suggests that they know what a budget is. They just borrow or print money whenever they feel the need. What would happen if you did that? I also love the fact that the Senate just passed the new financial reform bill, when it's them and Congress who've caused so many of our financial problems over the last 100 years. Gee, I thought we weren't going to have any more financial problems. At least that's what the government tells us every single time they pass another bill ever since they passed the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. Contrary to popular belief, the government has been controlling and destroying the American economy for years, and especially for the last 50 years. They're lawyers, people, lawyers. And most of them aren't even good lawyers. That's probably why they had to get government jobs in the first place. Now, a lot of people are going to say, okay, Applebee, if you're so smart, how would you fix this country? And that's a fair question. Well, I would begin by applying what I call inductive political reasoning, meaning if it doesn't work in the small picture, it's not going to work in the big picture. If it's not good on a family level, it's not good on a state or national level. If it's not good in for your family to have too much debt, it's not good for the government to have too much debt. If it's not good for your family to waste money, it's not good for the government to waste money. If it's not good for your family to keep busting its budget, it's not good for the government to keep busting its budget. If it's not good to allow your family members to get away with lying and manipulating, it's not good to allow politicians to get away with lying and manipulating. It's that simple. And it also works on the positive side as well. If it's good for your family to be fiscally responsible, then it's good for the government to be fiscally responsible. If it's good to hold your family members morally accountable, it's good to hold politicians morally accountable. It's common sense. Americans used to hold the paradigm that there are absolutes. Now, because of the philosophy departments at most universities, educated Americans are taught and have come to believe that there are no absolutes. And why are they taught that there are no absolutes? Because in order to have absolutes, you must be able to be objective. And because of the influence of German and European philosophy at the highest levels of education, Americans are taught objectivity is impossible and that only subjectivity is possible. For any average American out there, have you ever heard the question, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Well, according to the highest levels of American education, no, it doesn't make a sound. They actually believe perception creates reality. Unlike the average American with common sense, who believes reality exists and that it's the job of our senses to attempt to identify it correctly, they believe the human mind creates reality. They hold the paradigm of the primacy of consciousness and not the paradigm of the primacy of existence. Just think about that for a moment. If the human mind cannot identify reality, there can be no right or wrong, good or evil, truth or falsehood, just or unjust, etc. And people wonder why our country's fallen apart.